Have you guys seen this car before? This is Peugeot 504. One of my uncle had it, and you had to be very rich to own this kind of car then. This other one is Volkswagen B2, and one of my auntie's husband owned it too. How many of you are praying for any of these kind of cars? Please raise your hand.
If you see me in the club, put your hands up. If you see me in the church, put your hands up. If you never see me before, put your hands up. Forget that thing. You cannot be praying for that kind of car except you have a mental colloquial imbalance.
The cars that were manufactured in the 70s, 80s, and even 90s are all obsolete as we speak. The buildings that were built in the 80s, 60s, what am I saying? Even as of early 2000, most of the buildings are considered out of fashion today. The television sets that were made in the 80s, the radio sets, furniture. Even just recently, we were buying VCDs and DVD players.
How many people want to buy VCD today? Except those in the village. Now people have cable TV. If you want to watch movie, you can stream it on Netflix, both on your phone, your laptop, and even on your TV. Who want to buy VCD today?
So if all of these things are considered to be out of fashion, how comes our education system that was set up centuries ago is still the same? We are still practicing the same thing today. Haven't you reasoned it that way? Because it worries me a lot. Remember we did a video 2 years ago where we talked about the colonial age and how education was brought into Africa and the purpose for which the colonial masters felt they had to educate Africans.
Of course, if you are ruling over someone, you should be able to communicate with the person now, and also so that the person can take order from you. But if the person you are ruling over does not understand your language, how can you give him order now?
Education system that was set up at that time was set up by oppressors. People who had the mindset of war, because there was always one war or the other. And the rich merchants then were basically farmers. They owned plantations, and that was the main reason they took African slaves to their countries to work in their farms.
Sure, we saw a video where the late Queen Elizabeth was throwing food on the floor for the children of the slaves to pick as if they were pigeons, or even chicken or birds.
So the education system was set up in such a way that it will keep the children of the slaves busy while their parents are working the farms of the slave masters. And it's still being practiced till today. Today we have creche, daycare, and we have proper schools. And even after school hours, children are still being enrolled in lessons to keep them busy till 6 p.m. when the parents come back from work.
Chai! What a kunga.
Now, apart from the school system keeping the children busy, it was also fashioned in a way to make them come out of school with employee mentality. We mentioned it in the video we mentioned earlier. So even as they graduated from the school, they came out with the mentality to work for someone, not to work for themselves. That is why you see someone who even goes to school to study agriculture will still come out going about with a file looking for someone to employ him and put him in an office where there is AC.
You know some people, so long as the AC is blowing them in that office, even if the salary does not last till the end of the month, so long as they can snap picture in the office and post it on social media, they are okay with it.
That was what the education system was set up for. Think in a particular way. If they give you tests or exams, every question must have the same answer. And if you can't get the answer in a certain way, they fail you. So you can't think out of the box. So people come out with the same single mindset that the certificate is meant to give you a job. And even in the classroom, if a teacher asks a question and you attempt to answer in a different way, your fellow classmates laugh at you, ridicule you, and call you Olodo.
And because of that, some people never get to make any attempt in answering question again.
At all, because they feel they are dull, since others are laughing at their attempt. The school system is like putting a monkey and a cow in a competition to climb a tree, or putting a tortoise and a dog in a racing competition. Have you ever noticed that the people that were considered as being dull in school, some of them come out to be the ones that are successful in business than the ones that were called the brilliant brains? Okay, let's keep that apart. People that come out with first class, what normally happens to them?
They are employed fast. Kia, no time to waste time. Except now that there is no job again. Even with the 3 first class self, you will still be searching for a job.
But that guy who has second class lower or whatever you call it is the one that brainstorms to create business ideas, while the first class guy is always being chased after by employers. Now I give you this scenario. An Igbo man goes to the village and brings his relative to serve him in a city. Some might take 5 or 7 years as the case may be. Upon graduation, the master settles him. That is, He is established upon graduation because the master either gives him enough money for him to start his own business, or he hands over one of the outlets to him. Give him 5, 6, 7, 10 years down the line, he is a millionaire and even a billionaire depending on the line of business they are into. Do you know what happened next? He employs a graduate to drive him. He employs a graduate as his PA. He employs graduates to work for him. That guy whom you consider as a non-degree holder, yet employs degree holder and pays them just a small fraction of the money he makes every month.
Chai!
After working as an employee all your life, finally they say you have retired. And then what becomes of you? You're now living on pension to survive. What a pathetic life. And abroad, you even get to a certain age where they'll pack all of you into a particular place they call old people's home. And you start living like orphanage. And when you are old, it doesn't matter whether you had first class or not. Pension is pension. But the guy who owns a business has people running things for him, and he can live whatever life he wants to live.
It is an upside down world though. Chai!
No, it's not an upside down world. It's the fact that the education system that was set up by the slave masters is faulty and needs to be revisited. An Igbo apprentice who has no degree, once he graduates from serving his master, which is equivalent to the same time a graduate spent in a Nigerian university.
They can even spend more time, sir. Because with ASU strike in Nigeria, you can do a 4-year course for 12 years.
So once this Igbo apprentice graduates from serving his boss, he is automatically established and capable of creating jobs immediately for others, because that young graduate also needs someone to assist him in his new business.
Meanwhile, the person that graduated from university is looking for who to give him job. That 5 years that you are talking about, that the apprentice is already a millionaire or billionaire. Sometimes 5 years, a graduate has not gotten a job yet. 10 years, he is still struggling if his salary will take him till the end of the month. When Russia and Ukraine war started, there was one guy that said he is already in final year, but he has not gotten degree. He was crying. If the school system was not based on certificate but your knowledge, why would he be crying? So long as you have learned it, you can take your knowledge and start practicing it and making money. Will he be crying because he could not get certificate after spending almost 4 years?
I see something wrong with the education system that we are practicing. If an Igbo man who serves his boss upon graduation is automatically established and is able to create jobs for someone else, yet the graduate that comes out from our university is rather looking for someone else to give him a job instead of creating job by himself, then there's something wrong with the education system that we are practicing. The education system that only trains you to be searching for job. It tells you that there's only one answer to a particular problem. It tells you to think in a particular pattern. All the mathematics and physics formulas that were formed by people ages ago, no one else has propounded other theories or formulas to either replace or update them. But people are bringing up new cars design to replace the old ones, new fashion designs, new building patterns.
Even music itself. Check out the melodies of the music that was played in the 80s. How many of those music can you play in your party today if you want to dance?
This education system was set up by people who needed people to work for them. It was still another form of slavery. They were not supposed to think out of the box, but to think in a pattern of the requirements of the slave master. Why should a musician go and waste years in the university to get a degree and later dump it under his box, then go and look for another means to chase his music career? Why can't fashion designing or tailoring, furniture making, automobile mechanic, bricklaying, cleaning, security, driving, carpentry, hair making and barbing amongst other jobs, why can't they be inculcated into our education system? Once you are interested in furniture making, that is what your curriculum in the university should contain. After learning and practicing furniture making in the university for 4 years and you come out, you shouldn't be making quack jobs. Neither should a mechanic guy be an illiterate who touches different parts before he finally gets to the problem with your car, and in the process even damage other components. Do you know how competent people will be in their jobs if they study these jobs in the university for 4 years? This education system we are practicing is faulty.
If an apprentice can create a job when he graduates, why should university graduates be looking for jobs for years? We have to look into this education wahala. Till we come your way again next week Saturday, we say Happy New Year and we wish you a prosperous, lucracious Kungagaig 2023 with a formidable force. Botia!